Hello, how's everybody? This is Gus Tucker, and welcome to Financial Freedom Fridays. Financial Freedom Fridays. Welcome, welcome, welcome to our first session together in a while. So I'm looking forward to getting to know you and to having this conversation with you. So please, as we're involved in this conversation, you have questions, if you have comments, please feel free to post those. The more you're engaged, you will drive the quality of our time together. So continue to share questions, ideas, and you can shape the show going forward. So first thing is, why invest 30 minutes of your life each Friday into this conversation? Why would you want to do that? So I'll pose the question back to you. What's financial freedom to you? What is financial freedom to you? If you could, put it in the chat what financial freedom means to you. It means a lot of things to a lot of people. The purpose of this time together with you is for us to work together on this journey of financial freedom. I don't have all the answers. You don't have all the answers. Together we can get to them, and we'll be bringing guests on the show as we go forward in response to the questions you have and the subjects that we're going to cover to really get at this whole idea of financial freedom and what it really means. So my goal is to work together on your plan for financial freedom. Let me say it again. My goal for this show is that we work together on your plan for financial freedom. Information, man, they say information is power, right? And that's true to a degree, but information applied is the real power. Information applied is the real power. Because myself, one of the ways I think about it is this. The thinking that I have today got me into the situation I'm in. If I want to be in a new situation tomorrow, guess what? I'm going to need to think differently. And that's what this conversation is about us working on our mindset, our habits, our behaviors, so that we can create a more positive financial future going forward and experience financial freedom, which is a process. It isn't just a destination, it's an ongoing journey. So the plan that we're going to put together is about creating the lifestyle that you desire. So take a minute, write that word lifestyle down on a piece of paper. Write that lifestyle. If you're taking notes on your phone or an iPad or something else, write that word lifestyle down. What does lifestyle mean to you? When you think about, I want to live a certain kind of lifestyle, what does that mean to you? In my way of thinking, lifestyle means the following formula, if you will. Lifestyle equals controlling my time and my money. Having control of my time and my money. So let me ask you to think about this for a few minutes right now. When you think about your life, right now, how much control do you have over your time? If you want to do something totally different with your life tomorrow than you did today, how much control do you have over doing that? Can you control your time? Is there anybody you need to talk to? I'm married. I'm Gus. I'm married for 36 years. So the boss is Renee. So with my time, I need to talk to Renee. Okay? Dude, who's the boss of your time? Is it you? Or is it someone else? So the first thing about lifestyle is controlling your time and your money. Hello, Emily from Houston. It's controlling your time and your money. So first of all, let's talk about time. Who has control of your time? How do you feel about right now the amount of control you have over your time? How do you feel about that? Are you excited about it? Not that excited about it? Do you have a plan in place to change it? if you could change it, what might it look like? Because that's a part of your financial freedom, is having control of your time. Do you notice that the people's lifestyle that you might like the most seem to have the most control over their time? I don't spend a lot of time on Instagram, but some. And you guys know who Naomi Osaka is, right? She's a world-class tennis player. Well, the tennis season is over, and she was showing on her Instagram that she was in Rome for a couple of weeks, just hanging out. How cool is that? To be able to travel. So if you could have the financial freedom you wanted, how would you have control over your time? How would you have control over your time? Now, the second part of that is having control of your income. Having control of your income. One question I would ask people is, when you get a check, I know we don't get checks anymore, but when you get a check from somewhere, do you have control over the numbers on the front of the check? Or does somebody else? Do you have control over the numbers on the front of the check, or does somebody else? Another question to ask yourself: when you get paid, who gets paid first, you or the government? You or the government? Because when you get a W-2 check, right, there's a line that says gross, and then there's a bunch of lines in the middle, and then there's net. And there always used to be this thing when I got a W-2 check, it would say FICA, F-I-C-A, and I could never figure out what FICA was. And then I made up something. I said, here's what FICA is. FICA is finances I cannot access. Finances I cannot access. So in terms of your money, do you control the numbers on the front, or do you just sign it on the back? The more control we have of the numbers on the front, the more financial freedom we have. Also, in terms of your income, and I saw someone mention this in one of their comments, it's about having multiple streams of income. How many streams of income do you have right now? And how many of them are dependent on you putting time in? Because another thing is, having control of your money is making money without you having to necessarily be involved in the process. In other words, you have a business system, and a business owner has two things that an employee doesn't have. They've got a team, and they've got a system. And the team runs the system without the business owner having to be there. Okay? So, how much control do you have over your money? And how many streams or places do you have money coming in from? We've been in this pandemic for a minute, y'all, right? Lots of people have lost their incomes. Lots of people have had to reinvent themselves. Okay? And it's been tough on a lot of folks. The concepts that we're going to talk about and work on are going to help, because this isn't the last pandemic. This isn't the last situation like this that's going to be probably in our lifetime in the next 20, 25 years. This will probably happen again. So lifestyle is control of time and money. So why me? Why should you tune in to Financial Freedom Friday and listen to me? Well, I wonder that sometimes myself. So here's how I've heard people talk about it. If you're going to take a trip somewhere, you're going to take some trip somewhere, you can have two kinds of people help you on the trip. One is a travel agent. A travel agent may or may not have ever been to the place you're going, but they got all the books and the connections, and they can get you discounts and da 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 da. But they're not going over there with you. They're just going to help you put the stuff together and send you on your way. That's a travel agent. A tour guide is going on the trip with you because they've been there before. They can kind of say, yeah, you might want to see this. Nah, you really don't want to see that. This is the best way to go over here. I wouldn't go that way. I wouldn't do that. You can try it if you want to. Hey, but based on my experience, I don't think you want to do that. Okay, my goal is to be a tour guide on our trip together to financial freedom, because financial freedom isn't a destination, it's a journey. And the goal is to get more and more financially free every day. So, experience plus current activities equals our journey together. So, what's been my experience? Started out in corporate America, spent over 20 years in corporate America at 4 different Fortune 50 companies. And I was responsible for divisions with revenues as high as $400 million. I've been responsible for sales teams in 15, 16 states, 30 different sales agencies. So I've had to manage people, I've had to manage assets, and I've had to hit a profit number on a monthly, quarterly, annual basis, or you get to get fired. Or you get to get fired. I was involved in a nonprofit organization where I led a group that did consulting for entrepreneurs. We ran an entrepreneurship center that 24/7 we did consulting with Black and brown businesses, mostly here in Chicago, on how to grow their business. Did that for 4 years. And I've, since 1990, even when I was working for somebody else, was running a business of my own. And right now, I was writing this down, and I'm involved in 5 different businesses right now. One, look this up. It's called the Dream Exchange. DreamExchange.com. DREAM exchange.com. Or DreamX.com is actually the website. DREAMEX.com. We're launching 2 Black-owned stock exchanges 3rd, 4th quarter of next year. Yep, you heard it right. Black-owned stock exchanges. What? That's right. Stock exchanges started back in the 1790s. There's been less than 10 Black companies on the stock exchange, and only 1 on the New York Stock Exchange, BET. There's several on the NASDAQ right now. Why is that? Access to capital, to money for Black and brown people is tough. There's over $5 trillion in the venture capital space, and only 3% goes to Black and brown companies. Black and brown people make up 30% of the population in the United States. If you look at what's called African American, all the Latin X expressions, and all the Asian expressions, if you add all those up, that's over 30% of the people. And we get 3% of the venture capital. It's a problem. So what the Dream Exchange is going to do, I don't want to get too deep into it. We're going to open 2 stock exchanges, one that'll operate much like NASDAQ and the New York Stock Exchange. And then we're creating a new security that doesn't exist today through some legislation we're getting passed through Congress right now. They're working hard on getting passed through Congress right now, that will create a new security that will allow private companies to have their stock traded on an exchange. And business owners can begin to create liquidity for their companies while maintaining control of their companies. Okay? So that's what's going on. Second company I'm involved in is a financial services business where we're helping people with their personal finances, much like we're talking about today, where we're helping people develop personal plans to develop wealth. Personal plans to develop wealth. Third is I'm a real estate owner. Real estate's a great way to have passive income. So I own real estate that creates income on a monthly basis. And the two other things I'm doing, I'm not paid for them directly. Well, three other things I'm not paid for them directly, where I through my church, we teach a leadership development class that we're teaching in 13 countries right now. Matter of fact, we're going to Nigeria at the end of November for 2 weeks to teach over 10,000 people. We're not getting paid for that, not directly, but that's one of the keys we're going to talk about for financial freedom is giving. When you give, it's a law. When you give, it comes back to you. So I'm involved in doing that, involved in helping grow our current church here, and then involved in media, podcasts. I'm writing, those kinds of things. So those are multiple streams of income. So we want to make sure we've got those happening. So my past experience in corporate, my experience over the years in entrepreneurship, real estate, and some other areas, do I know everything? Not by a long stretch. You know, there's more information created almost every day right now than that was created from like the dawn of time to like the year 2000. So much information is created every day. You can't know it all. That's why this is a conversation. Okay, so as we move forward, the next thing we're going to talk about is what is this process that the show is going to take on? Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to cover the wealth development process. The wealth development process. The first part of that is personal development. The most important thing that all of us can invest in is ourselves. How we think, our attitudes, our habits, our behaviors. Our most important investment is in ourselves. So we're going to talk about personal development. It's going to be sprinkled all the way throughout our conversations. I'm going to be mentioning books that I encourage you to read, speakers, authors, professionals, to encourage you to check out their information, because many of them will be saying the same things or similar things. But much like a music artist, it's just the way they do it that resonates with you and will help you the best. You know what I mean? I may be a good person for you to listen to, but not everybody, or any artist, or any speaker, or any trainer, okay? So personal development, we're going to talk about that a lot, because at the end of the day, who's responsible for where we end up? We are, okay? The first step in wealth creation is, and that was the title of today's How Good Are You at Making Money, is income generation. So there's three basic parts in wealth creation that we're going to talk about to try to keep it simple. One is income generation. The second thing is giving. And the third thing is planning. Okay, first, income generation. Let's talk about that for a second. How do you make money? Let me ask you guys a question and put it in the chat. How good do you think Americans are at making money? Are we really good at it or not so good at it? How many of you had a class in how to make money? Here's how money's made in our economy. I never had that class until I got involved in some entrepreneurial ventures and people start talking to me about that. How do you make money in America? How do you do that? So I'd like to talk to you about something called the law of income. The law of income. The law of income says you will be paid in direct proportion to the value that you deliver to the marketplace. So I've had mentors say to me, Gus, do you like how much money you're making. Do you like how much money you're making, Gus? No, I want to make more money. Well, Gus, guess what you got to do? You need to deliver more value to the marketplace. What? Yes, Gus, you need to deliver more value to the marketplace. All the money that you want is in somebody else's pocket. Think about that for a second. All the money that you want is in somebody else's pocket. How do you get it out of their pocket? Well, it's basically only two ways. You can hit them over the head for it and take it from them, or they could hand it to you with a smile. Why would they hand you their money with a smile? Because you've created more value for them than the money they're handing over to you. Does that make sense? You're creating more value for them than the money that they're handing over to you. The law of income. You'll be paid in direct proportion to the value that you deliver to the marketplace. Okay? So when you look back at how much money you made, that's how much value the marketplace said that you delivered. Now let's look at the next part of this. The next part of this says this. How is your income level determined? By the number of people you serve and the perceived value of the offering. And value is determined by four things. Supply, how much of what you do is available. Demand, how much of what you do is wanted by other people. How much are you providing? And then what's the quality of what you provide? So let's think about that. What are some things that you would pay a lot of money for? Now, check this out. A friend of mine, he's in the hospital right now. Okay. And we were on a conference call together because one of the businesses I'm involved in, he's one of my business partners, and he was very sick. I mean, he could barely be on the call that we were on. We're like, dude, this seems like it's really bad. You need to get this checked out. So he went to the emergency room. Okay. Now check this out. And we're on blackdoctor.org. So here you go. He had a gallbladder that was gangrenous and infected inside his body. He was that close to becoming what's called septic or toxic, and that would have took him out of here. This guy is in his 40s. What's the value of being able to diagnose that, provide the surgery, and have him be well now? What's the value of that in the marketplace? It's high. Okay? What's the supply for it? How many people could do that are on the planet? What's the demand for it? Quantity provided, perceived quality. Okay? That's how your income is determined. My friend would pay whatever was necessary. And I talked to him after the surgery this morning. He's a happy dude. He can eat now. Everything's functioning. He's ready to go home. Wow. How is your income determined? Number of people served, the perceived value of the offering. Value is four things: supply, demand, quantity, and perceived quality. Okay, the next part of the income puzzle is this. Income is the power of your applied thinking. You've heard it takes money to make money. Nope, not first. First and foremost, it takes ideas to make money. So income is how you convert tangible things you can see and intangible resources into a product or service of value? How can you take tangible things and intangible things, convert them into a product or service that creates value? So think about this. All of us have an abundance of intangible resources. Think about this time. Your time has value. I know people that get paid hundreds and thousands of dollars an hour for the service that they can provide because they've got very specialized knowledge and they're able to take that time along with the ideas and the information they have and make money. Your values. Just think about this. How many people know you to be an honest person? And your closest friends, if you went up to them and said, hey, look, I really need X amount of money to do Y thing, and I will pay you back in the future. How many of you have friends that you could go around and get money from them? Well, in business, when you're starting a company, that's called friends and family capital raising. So based on your value and your character, your values and your character, that's worth money in the marketplace. And the more people that know about your value and your character that will be willing to support you means real money for you. Ideas and vision. What ideas are knocking around in your head? What vision do you have about the future that you would like to create, and other people would like to see that happen, and they're willing to invest in that future that you're talking about? You guys ever heard of Tesla? Elon Musk? Has he turned a profit yet? Think about that. Go back and look and see how much profit Tesla Motors has made, but it's the most valuable car company there is. So turning ideas and then tangible things, real estate, land, relationships, cars, and money, right? And then you can convert those into a product or service that makes money. So the next thing, and this will be one of the last things we'll talk about today, is I want you to think about this in terms of next steps. Income generation is the first step to creating financial wealth, because if we don't have enough money, then all the planning and everything we want to do is not going to work. So I want you to do this. Make a list of the 5 tangible and intangible resources you have access to. And start thinking about how could you convert them into a product or service that might help people. Just start thinking about that. What are 5 tangible and 5 intangible resources that you have access to, and how could you begin to convert them? And you see the email that's on the screen there? Send me just your list of tangible and intangible resources that you've got access to. Don't send me your ideas, because I don't want to be accused of stealing them and running away with them. Well, keep your ideas to yourself, but I want you to just think about the resources that you have access to. Because all of us, one way to speed up our journey to financial freedom is to increase our income. And by you being able to provide more value to the marketplace and increase your income without increasing your lifestyle, in other words, without spending more money, that'll give you more margin that you can either reinvest into your business or invest into other things to get you down the road to financial freedom. So the next time we get together, we'll talk about that conversion process, and we'll start to get into this whole concept of financial freedom and how to put a plan together to create your financial freedom. Because at the end of the day, that's what we need. We need a written plan for you that you can execute to create your financial freedom. And we'll talk about that next time we get together on Financial Freedom Friday. Make sure you share this with other people. Get them involved and increase the conversation. Hit us up with questions, ideas, and things you'd like to talk about going forward. Okay? Take care, you guys.